The challenge of the week, the challenge that one poor team must face every week except when the Chiefs have their bye. How in the world do you stop the Kansas City offense, Peter? And, this comes up especially, and I think most fascinatingly, when the Patriots and the Chiefs come together, because Belichick has that history of creating something that confounds or at least slows down just enough the opposing offense so his offense can score at least one more point. And I think back to Super Bowl 36 all the time, the masterful decision that really put Belichick on the map as a head coach to drop 8 guys into coverage and to dare Mike Martz, send the greatest show-offs on turf, to throw the ball, and they never deviated from it and ran the ball instead. The problem, and I've been thinking maybe you should just do that to the Chiefs. The problem is now that they have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Andy Reid will say, fine, but drop 8 guys into coverage and try to tackle Clyde after he gains 15 yards.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things, if you're a student of history in this rivalry, you saw Alex Smith and Kareem Hunt put up 42 points with Andy Reid in 2017 in Foxborough, first game of the year. One of the greatest scenes ever in that Tom versus Time documentary is Tom Brady in his car, Range Rover, whatever, with Giselle in the passenger seat, and she's trying to comfort him as they leave the stadium that night, and he's having none of it. He is like seething. You could see the steam coming out of his ears. So there's that. And then the next year, theoretically, when, okay, we got the new guy, and we'll throw up all this stuff that'll confuse the new guy. And Mahomes wasn't perfect, because he threw that bad interception right before halftime in that game. But he still put up 40 points. And then you get to the championship game, Mike, in Kansas City. And Belichick did a great job. The Patriots did a great job in the first half. But then it was like almost every time Kansas City touched the ball after that, they were going to score. So you get the feeling that there is this dam in front of the New England defense. And you hold it, but eventually the dam's going to burst. And I guess my question is, if you have to play a scoring contest with the Kansas City Chiefs, if this game is in the 30s, how will Cam Newton do? And particularly, what will he do? In the first 3 games, week 1, 19 passes. Week 2, 44 passes. Week 3, 28 passes. I mean, that, to me, that's good for the Patriots. Because if you're Steve Spagnuolo, you're watching him this week and you're studying, and you walk into Andy Reid's office and say, Coach, I have no idea what these guys are going to do. But I think this is the game where Cam Newton's going to run a lot. Because I just think they say that our best chance is to put the ball in the hands of Cam Newton early and often.
And when Chris Sims and I were talking about this yesterday, the point he made, and this is a good one, Peter, that the Chiefs, after just playing the Ravens on Monday night and forcing Lamar Jackson to try to throw and giving him opportunities to throw and him not capitalizing on the opportunities to throw, do you see a similar defensive game plan from the Patriots? Will Cam Newton have to pivot? And can he do a better job than Lamar Jackson did of getting the ball down the field with his arm and not with his legs? And, Cam Newton and Patrick Mahomes have never squared off before. And we know these guys pay attention to everything, even when they claim that they don't. And I think the harder they claim they don't, the more that they really do. But all the talk about Mahomes and Jackson, the great rivalry. I mean, here's Cam Newton. He's new on the scene. He's never faced Mahomes before. The last time the Panthers and the Chiefs played was 2016 before Mahomes was drafted. So this has never happened. And I could see Cam Newton being more than a little bit upset that no one's talking about the potential for this great quarterback rivalry for as long as Newton's in New England and Patrick Mahomes. And, yeah, Newton's a little bit older than Mahomes, 5-6 years. But still, this is an opportunity in a roundabout way for Newton to prove to everyone that he's as good, if not better, than Lamar Jackson when healthy. Because if he can do more against that same defense than Lamar Jackson did, you and I and everyone else is going to react to that game on Sunday and say, damn, maybe Cam Newton's as good as Lamar Jackson. We just have not seen much of it the past couple of years because he's been injured.
I mean, if Cam Newton wants to feel that way, it certainly is his right. But I don't feel that way. I mean, for the last year and a half, Cam Newton has not been whole. He's had 2 significant surgeries. And he's started out this year very well. Now, I still don't know exactly what Cam Newton is. The graphic that we just put up just showed that, in essence, the Patriots are going to use Cam Newton, obviously in a much different way than they use Tom Brady. But week to week, I don't know how they're going to use Cam Newton. That is the mystery, and that is what the Patriots have going for him right now. And Cam Newton has every opportunity to prove that he belongs in the discussion with the best quarterbacks, the 5 best quarterbacks in football. He has that chance. It is a golden chance with Josh McDaniels and Bill Belichick. Golden chance. But it's a chance. It isn't reality. It hasn't happened yet. Let's see if it does.
And one of the important things that I'm going to be paying attention to, especially if the Chiefs build a double-digit lead at some point, we saw late in the game Lamar Jackson seemed frustrated, seemed down. The Patrick Mahomes default demeanor, no matter what the score is, he's like, let's go do it. Let's go get it done. We're down 10 points, 7 minutes left in the Super Bowl. Let's go take it, right? And I think the more success you have coming from behind and coming from behind and coming from behind, the easier it is to have that kind of like, yeah, we've been here, we've done this. But with Lamar, you rarely see the Ravens in that spot. And maybe that's one of the reasons why he seemed frustrated. But that's been one of the criticisms of Cam Newton. It's a roller coaster. When things are going well, when you get a lead early, everything's great. When you just feel like it's not your day, he has a hard time breaking out of that. And this is going to be, I think, the biggest test. Now, look, against the Seahawks, they were done, and they fought back into it, and they made an exciting game right down to the end. So that was positive. But that may be another part of the test here as this Patriots team grows and develops with Cam Newton as the quarterback, dealing with the adversity of being behind in the second half and having faith that you can make it happen even if you feel like it's not going your way. And, Peter, I feel about this game the same way I felt about the Seahawks game for the Patriots. If this was later in the year, I'd feel better about the Patriots. If they cross paths in the postseason, the Chiefs and the Patriots, I'll feel better about the Patriots. For now, I just feel like it's still too much of a work in progress to go toe-to-toe with this well-oiled machine that is the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, Mike, you brought it up. Last year, an hour and 15 minutes after the Super Bowl, pre-COVID, no mask, I walked into Andy Reid's coach's office at Hard Rock Stadium, sat down with him for about 12 to 15 minutes, and one of the first things he said was, man, how about Patrick? And what everybody says, oh, well, big deal. Here's what he meant. You're down by 10 points with 8 minutes to go. And if the game ended right then, because what I said to Andy, I said, Andy, if that game continues on its path, my goat of the week would have been Patrick Mahomes. He didn't come through in the big moment, threw a couple of ugly picks, and all that. But I said he willed his way to coming back in that game. And he comes to the sidelines, and NFL Films captures it. And he says to Eric Bieniemy, hey, do we have time to run Wasp? And he's excited. You could tell. He's interested. Bieniemy asked Andy Reid, can we run 2-jet chip Wasp? The play that Tyreek Hill ends up doing, the very deep out, and they go plus 40, they go a 44-yard gain, and they win the game. But that's what I was watching for the other night, and that's what I did not see in Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson was down at the end of that game. You could see it. Now, maybe he wasn't down in his voice, but he sure was down in his body language. So, and look, when you are having a terrible day in the biggest game of your life, and you have it in you when it's 3rd and 14 to still be excited and still say, hey, we got this, don't worry. I mean, that is the trait of one of the great quarterbacks, and that's the trait that Mahomes has.
and it's only gotten stronger and stronger. You know, when you pull that victory out of the fire the way that they did, how does it not give you confidence you're always going to be able to do it? And conversely, the defense knows your history, and they start feeling a little wobbly, like, uh-oh, here it comes. And that's, I think, the big difference right now between Patrick Mahomes and most other quarterbacks in the NFL. Here he is from earlier in the week talking about the experience facing these Bill Belichick defenses.
Luckily for us, we've played them a good amount of times now, so we can see all the different types of stuff that they presented us and offenses like us. And so, there's going to be unscouted stuff. There's going to be stuff that he's going to throw out there. I mean, that's why he's one of the best coaches of all time. And so we have to make sure that we are able to make adjustments quickly and find ways to not have negative plays and have positive ones, even if it's unscouted.
You know, the obsession when facing the Kansas City Chiefs, especially when it's the Patriots, has been take away Tyreek Hill. That's what they did in the first half of that AFC Championship game a couple of years ago, a deep safety that shaded over to provide double coverage of Tyreek Hill, neutralizing him. The problem is they got too many other guys now, Peter. They got Travis Kelce. They've always had him, but the Clyde Edwards-Helaire dynamic is what changes this offense. And Andy Reid's patience and ability and willingness to use what's available, to take what he's being given. That's what sets him apart from other coaches who just get so frustrated that the thing they want to do isn't there. They still keep banging their head against the wall until it's there or until it blows up on them. The Chiefs have the ability and the coaching patience. And Eric Bieniemy's a big part of this too, because he's the one calling the plays, to know we just have to take what's available. And at some point that big play is going to be available. And that was something Patrick Mahomes told me going into 2019, that his next stage for his development is to be patient, to not get frustrated when that shot down the field isn't there, and understand that there's going to be something shorter that may not be as sexy, but let's take what's there. And I think Edwards-Helaire makes it even easier for Patrick Mahomes to settle for something that's available here instead of forcing what's down there. And you're screwed if you're the defense. You can't win. You can't beat them. You can't, Belichick always says take away what they do best. They do everything best. You can't take it all away.
Well, consider this. They've got the fastest wide receivers in the game. They have a great tight end who's either the best or second best tight end in the game. And they have a rising star running back. So Patrick Mahomes throws 4 touchdown passes the other day. 2 of them are very typical. One is an all-out bomb to Mecole Hardman, and one is a perfectly thrown timing route to Tyreek Hill. The other 2, an underhand touchdown pass to his fullback in traffic, and the other one is a touchdown pass to his left tackle. So you go try to figure out what Andy Reid is going to do Sunday against New England. I have no clue, but I know it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. Both sides of the ball, because it may just be the only way you can beat the Chiefs is to outscore them, because they're going to get their points. Peter, this is something I've been saying over and over again. It almost qualifies for a spot on the PFT bingo card. The Chiefs are that basketball team that's going to go on an 18-2 run. They will do it at some point. You need to accept it. Going into the game, you need to accept the fact that at some point it's going to get a little bit out of control. The question is, for the rest of the game, can you do enough to make up for the damage done by the Chiefs in that moment where it all falls together and you just can't stop them no matter what they do? So it should be a great game. We look forward to that.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.